afternoon and happy September to my beautiful Coffee with Kelly community. We are doing something fun and different this afternoon. We're doing a LinkedIn Live, and I'm so glad those of you that can join us live or those of you that can join us on the replay, however you're able to access this, I just want to welcome you. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting before, I'm your inspirational barista, Kelly Merbler, coming to you. And normally, as you know, we normally meet on Zoom on Friday mornings from 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. But I like to keep things interesting. I think those of you that know me know that I don't like to just do things that I do the same all the time. I like to shake it up. And I thought today, since I can't meet with you all on Zoom this Friday due to an engagement that I'll be speaking at, I thought we could have just a midweek, mid-afternoon coffee session for Coffee with Kelly. And those of you that are joining on the live stream, I wish I could see you. I hate that I can't see your faces, but I've got my mid-afternoon coffee break going on and just want to give you all a cheers. I hope you've got your hug and a mug as well. But I thought we would do something a little different today on LinkedIn Live because, as you know, I just love putting the spotlight on different organizations in our community here in South Florida and all over the country and all over the world, of course. But I love putting a spotlight on organizations that are making an impact and just doing really good work. And I thought today I would introduce to our community and all of you that are watching a leader and a nonprofit organization that I was introduced to last year of October. And the organization, some of you may know, is called Arc Broward. Arc Broward is an amazing organization that I learned about through one of my very good friends, Heather Geronimus of UKG. And if you know Heather, you know how amazing she is. So put it in the chat. Let's give Heather some love. But last year, about this time, Heather had reached out to me and said, Kelly, I want to invite you as a guest to an upcoming lunch called the Inspired Luncheon that Arc Broward is hosting. And I'm like, Heather, I would love to go with you. I didn't know what to expect, but last October, I joined Heather as her guest to the Arc Broward Inspired Luncheon. And I walked out of that room feeling so I had goosebumps. There were so many great stories that Arc Broward shared about what they're doing in the community. And how they are putting students with neurodiversity into the workplace. And those of you know me, you know I love to support great organizations. And I wanted to introduce to you one of my new friends, one of our newest Coffee with Kelly members. Her name is Jennifer St. Louis. So I'm going to add her into the stream here. So let me grab her. And I'm going to have her introduce herself. And we're just going to share some thoughts around what Jennifer and Arc Broward are doing in the community around hiring neurodiverse talent. And I thought it could be a great little leadership lesson for us today. So we're going to talk about the power of neurodiverse talent. So Jennifer, I think you're in. Are you there? There she is. My technology skills, I'm just warning you, Jennifer, my community will laugh at me all the time because I always hit the wrong button, but I think we did it well.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm right there with you. I'll be the first to hit that wrong mute button and unmute.
Oh my goodness, yes. I struggle. My early days on Zoom, Jennifer, were legit like hysterical. One of my good friends, Nicole, she taught me Zoom in one weekend when COVID started, and I started Coffee with Kelly. And I was so lost trying to figure out how to put the screens on and how to do everything. And I disconnected us on so many occasions, couldn't have my audio on. Everybody was saying, you're on mute, you're on mute. But, you know, I think my Zoom skills today are pretty savvy. So my online live stream skills, I'm still learning, but you know, hey, we all have a lot to learn, right? Yeah, so welcome to Coffee with Kelly. This is your first experience in our virtual coffee shop. So I always ask a question, Jennifer. And if you don't, there is absolutely no judgment. You know, that's one of our core values at Coffee with Kelly. We like to use our values in an acronym. It stands for BREW. We love coffee puns here with Coffee with Kelly. And the B stands for be yourself. We just want you to come and be who you are authentically. The R stands for respect others. Even if you love decaf or tea, we have a lot of tea lovers in here, we will never judge you. The E stands for encourage growth and development. That's what we're here for. We want to always give great leadership lessons and empower the people that come to Coffee with Kelly, just something that will help them be better. And then W stands for we value everyone. And we mean that seriously, everyone. We are an inclusive community, and we have people from all around the world with all different types of challenges joining us. So I have to ask you, are you drinking coffee this afternoon, or what's in your cup, your Stanley cup there?
So Stanley Cup has some water, but I did have my coffee this morning. It's a must.
It's okay. So are you a Starbucks girl or a Dunkin' Donuts girl? Do you have a preference?
So when I do venture out, I'm a Starbucks girl, I have to say.
Girl
I
after
like
my own
heart.
I love it. I love it. So go ahead, share with the community, what exactly is your role at Arc Broward? Like, tell us a little bit about you and how you landed at Arc Broward.
Amazing, thank you. So I have the pleasure of serving as Arc Broward's Vice President for Workforce Services. And Workforce Services at Arc Broward is one of 3 divisions, and it's comprised of 4 distinct departments, but that all have a shared goal of empowering individuals for the workforce to be gainfully employed, to be independent. And so those departments include our transition services. And so we have 2 programs. One is a high school diploma deferment program, serving 18 to 21-year-old individuals, getting them job ready, workforce ready. They participate in work-based learning experiences throughout the week, this school year, so that they're really getting ready. The second is our Youth Link. So it's an after-school program that, again, it's focused on those job readiness skills. And so Monday through Thursday, those students are in the classroom setting after school, learning those skills. And during the summer, they participate in a 7-week paid internship program. We also have our Arc Educates department, which is our post-secondary certificate programs. These are accredited certificate programs and licensed by the Florida Department of Education, CIE. And so we have animal care, entry-level culinary arts, material handler, and we're really excited because we'll be launching our healthcare operations in October and our hospitality certificate program in January. So a lot of great pipelines for our local workforce through that department. And then finally, our 4th department is our Arc Works, and that's our supported employment. So again, we have individuals who are working with our individuals on financial literacy. So once you have a job, how are we budgeting? How are we utilizing those funds to be independent? And also working with them on the job search, cover letters, resumes, mock interviews. And then once an individual is employed, it's that follow-along service to make sure that they're retaining that job and maintaining the relationship with the employers as well. And so that is our workforce services in a nutshell. And my path to getting to Arc Broward, I love it. It makes me feel really warm inside. When I started out my career, I started at a nonprofit organization, also helping individuals with intellectual disabilities, Best Buddies. So shout out to Best Buddies. And I worked for them for a couple of years. I decided to go back and do grad school and whatnot. And then I worked for Broward College for 15 years in multiple capacities and loved my experience at Broward College. My last role at Broward College, I was Associate Vice President for their Strategic Partnerships and Innovation, where I had the opportunity to oversee their career services and their community partnerships and entrepreneurship. And so it really became, when this opportunity presented itself, kind of that full circle to combine all of those loves and passions to give back and serve a community that's really close to my heart.
I love that. And you have had quite the career, and all in South Florida. Are you from South Florida?
I'm not from South Florida. I must have, and also go Noles. After Florida State, I moved down to South Florida. Didn't mean to stay, and now it's home for sure.
I love that. And One of the things we always start with when we do a conversation and coffee with Kelly, and I'd like to ask your perspective about this, is we pick one word that kind of serves as our theme of the conversation and kind of what you feel your organization is doing that would connect with the conversation. So if you were to pick one word that really represents what you feel Arc Broward stands for, what would be the word that you would say represents Arc Broward?
Love that question. I would say empowerment.
Empowering. Yeah, that's a great word. I don't think we've ever used that on a Coffee with Kelly episode yet. I mean, every time we meet, we always pick a word of the day that we're gonna, kind of emphasize. And I can't think of a time that we've used empowering. And I do think it's so fitting based on what at least I learned from the event I attended last year for your Inspired Luncheon. But you are empowering individuals that, sometimes we all have different challenges in life. And that's what I love about this community as well is, and I see some of you are in here. So I see Nelly, I see Jessica, David Perez is here from your team. It's so good to have David, Regine Franklin, Michelle Evans, Erica Montagna. So we've got some people here from Coffee with Kelly in the chat. And a lot of what really kind of brings us together that we love talking about is really just empowering people so they feel valued and heard. There are a lot of different leadership conversations I personally have in the workplace, just with different leaders at all levels. And there's always two things that people at all levels want. And I hear this all the time. They want to be valued and they want to be heard. And I think that is so fitting for your community as well, because they want to feel valued and heard as well. And when you think about neurodiversity, that is a word that I'm hearing a lot more. I didn't used to hear it a lot. So can you kind of talk about that? Because it seems to be a word I'm hearing a lot more in the workplace. And why are people a little nervous still to talk about it? I love your perspective.
Yeah, and that's a really important question, because you hit that nail on the head, where even though awareness is a little bit higher now, people do get a little bit frightened to speak on it and engage with someone who may be neurodivergent. And I think that it's completely natural to feel that way, especially when you're operating under the spirit of being respectful and inclusive and not wanting to misstep. I think that one really powerful way that we can all feel more comfortable, both in being ourselves and making space for colleagues or individuals that we just may encounter in the community, is by embracing the culture of curiosity, vulnerability, and grace, really. Because I think that that's a big reason why folks, they don't want to stick their foot in their mouth. They don't want to offend someone in their quest to be inclusive. And so when we're looking at individuals with disabilities or individuals who may be neurodiverse, I think that when we're approaching those situations and individuals with genuine curiosity, with open-mindedness, and understanding that it's okay not to always have the answers or not always say the appropriate thing, when we create an environment where we can be a little vulnerable, then we really create that environment where learning and connection can thrive. And when it's paired with grace, both with ourselves and others, then it really creates that room for honest conversations and those small missteps that we may have along the way, and growth, because I think that inclusion doesn't require perfection. It just requires that willingness to learn and to show up with empathy for those. And so I think that when we model that, we give everyone permission to do the same in those types of conversations.
I love what you just said. Inclusion doesn't require perfection. I think that is really powerful. So if you're listening, let's put that in the chat, because I think we need to keep that in there and be marinating on that. I really love that. Inclusion doesn't mean perfection. And you just think about just humans in the world. Everybody has some challenge that they're going through. So many people are afraid to be vulnerable in our world right now. We're living in a world that is so divided that we feel like if we say one thing, we're going to offend somebody, and it's causing a lot of people not to be curious because they're afraid to be. And I love that you're summing that up. Now, when you think about Arc Broward and the work that you and your team are doing in the community, some of the stories that I was able to hear about really just touched my heart. And I remember, I do not know her name, but I remember you celebrated her at the event I was at, and she was a baker. She was baking cakes or cupcakes, and she started her own business. Is there any story that really has stood out in your mind, in your experience, that would be just really inspiring to share what Arc Broward is doing to help individuals?
Absolutely. So many, and I think that's one of the things that I love so much about Arc Broward is on any given day, you're moved to tears because some individuals are really overcoming major challenges and thriving. And so the young woman that you're mentioning, Sophia, her story is great. She has her own business, Sophia Sweet Treats. So if you have a sweet tooth, definitely check her out. She has some beautiful cakes and cupcakes. And recently she just got an online payment option, which is another big milestone for her, continuing to ladder up and grow that business. But we've had so many success stories for our students, through getting each of our certificate programs, they have embedded industry certifications within them. And so individuals really are prepared for the workforce. And so when you see individuals who are not only completing a certificate program, but they're finishing it with the forklift certification, OSHA certification, and then having a job lined up, it's really exciting. And so one really awesome success story is one of our last cohorts of our entry-level culinary arts students who are going to be graduating. At their graduate student chef luncheon, every single one of those students had jobs lined up before they completed. And they even had employers there at their luncheon ready to embrace them into that workforce. So we had students go and work for Amarant Bank Arena for the Florida Panthers, over to Capitol Grill, Maple Street Biscuit Company. And so it was beautiful just to see so many employers ready to embrace and understand the value and worth that our students are bringing to that workforce.
I love that. And I've experienced witnessing some neurodiverse talent in the workforce, specifically myself. And Publix is a great example of one that I've experienced. There are 5 Publixes literally within, like a 5-mile radius here in Wellington, Florida, where I live. And there's definitely one a little bit closer, but my husband and I always go to a specific Publix that's a little bit farther in our area because of one person, and his name is Shane. And we love seeing Shane at Publix, and he's neurodiverse, and he is so special because he always comes up, he always greets us, he always wants to give us a hug, he recognizes us, and his customer service is legit incredible. And so I've also used some students from the Palm Beach School for Autism, because I've worked with them for several years, where they've helped me, just in some of the conferences that I create, doing, clerical work and just little projects that I have, and they just nail it. Like they're always there. They show up to work. They are excited to do work that a lot of people don't want to do, is my experience. And I've had great experience with it. So when you think about some of the work that Arc Broward is doing, what are some common jobs that employers can consider hiring your talent for in your community?
So we have a lot of job seekers that are ready in food service. And so we've got prep cooks, saute cooks, individuals who are looking to work in any type of the food service industry. We also have a lot of material handler individuals who are working in warehouses, light industrial areas. So our warehouses, FedEx type of organizations. We have, for our animal care, there's a lot of interest in that space. And so for veterinary clinics who are interested in having folks working on the front end and the back end for shelters and different pet store opportunities. And then soon, with our healthcare programs, there will be a pipeline of individuals who are ready to work those front lines in the non-allied health area for assisted living facilities and healthcare, both with the hospitals, and we're very fortunate to be partnering with major hospital systems here in South Florida, but of course for the smaller medical practices as well. I think it's a really great opportunity to bring folks in because as we know and you mentioned, it's that work ethic, it is that desire, and so truly the benefits of hiring individuals with disabilities is increased productivity, reduce turnover and absenteeism, improve workplace culture, like you mentioned, right? You want to go back, and reduce costs of recruiting and hiring new employees because you have a loyal employee who's going to be there. So I went on a tangent, but of course we have generalist job seekers, and so truly if an employer has a job need, Arc Broward can be that hiring solution for you because I'm sure we have a job seeker who can fit that. And we work individually one-on-one with employers to really see what their needs are and what the pain points are to really help create a good match for our job seekers and employers.
I love that, Jennifer. And so in the area, so Broward County is where you would have they would have access to your students. So that specific area is a great location for employers down there. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's good to know because my community, Coffee with Kelly, we have a lot of connections down in Broward County, all throughout South Florida. One of the other things that I've seen, one of my very good friends, Sarah Staley, and we've noticed a big influx because season is coming, is private country clubs. So my friend Sarah, she always hires silverware and banquet serving and things like that. And so in your area, do you work with a lot of country clubs in Broward County?
We have worked with some, yes. And of course, any more that are interested in working with us, we would welcome you in.
No, that's good because I can definitely help get connections down in that area. And those of you, Coffee with Kelly Tribe, those of you that are on this or watching, you know, if you think of, if you're at an employer in Broward County and you're like, or you know an employer in Broward County, who would be a great connection for Jennifer and their team that, you know, they're struggling to find good talent. I mean, I came out of the recruiting industry 21 years, Jennifer, and I know there's a lot of talent out there, but it's hard to find good talent no matter what. And part of it is just getting people to show up and be happy that they're working if they have a job. So that's an added bonus. And thinking about culture, because I do a lot of work in culture, you know, what are some examples of how you've seen culture? I can imagine, but can you share an example? Like, what has it done?
Oh, yes. I have so many. It's something that we hear time and time again, and it really just makes you smile from ear to ear when you see that type of shift. And so, you know, one example, we work with a company, AB7 America, and they have a warehouse here in Broward County. And one really neat thing is that prior to one of the individuals that were placed and working there, they didn't celebrate birthdays, right? It just wasn't part of the culture in a systematized way. And it was one of the individual, he was a big birthday person. And so the whole cake and the whole thing, and now it has become something that not only is a routine systemized thing, but the employees really look forward to it, feel valued, heard, and celebrated, and it's become a larger part of their fabric. Also, we have an individual named Kajani. He works at Einstein Bagels, and you know, his work ethic is unparalleled. So again, like you said, you know, he is an example of individuals who are showing up and they're proactive. They don't need to be told what to do next. They know what they're doing. They are keeping an eye out to see, oh, that napkin thing is not filled right now. And even though I wasn't told to do it, and it's not really my job to do that right now, I'm going to go do that and take care of it. And so it's that work ethic, and it really pushes other people to rise to that level too, right? You may have another individual who's just kind of strumming their fingers, but they're like, oh my gosh, like let's keep this pace and momentum. And another neat thing with that Einstein Bagels example is because of that camaraderie, because of the ability to work together, that team has gone to do social outings together on the weekends where they'll go ATV riding or bowling. And recently we were there and speaking with his supervisor, and she just being said, we love him. He's the best worker. And, we have another individual, same thing with the work ethic, where his supervisor at Amaranth Bank Arena said, we want to clone him. We want a bunch of Jimmys, which if you're at the Inspired Luncheon, you'll have an opportunity to meet Jimmy because we'll be celebrating him this year. And a lot of our folks are growing with these companies and training new hires. So after several years, they're laddering up in those roles and becoming the trainers because of the unique way that they are able to see and perform those tasks. It makes them excellent at bringing in that next group of individuals who are going to be running those businesses.
I love that because that's multiplication. And when you have and they're leaders, they're leading by setting the example. They may not have the title, and they may have a job that most people would look down upon, but and I've seen this myself, and I love that you shared that because they're actually leaders in the culture because they're setting the pace for production. They're setting the example for attitude. That is influence in culture. And when others see that, it influences others to step up, like you said, and then they're training their predecessors as well. So, I mean, they're creating other leaders, and I love that you are giving them opportunities. And I mean, I'm going to ask because this is really what brought me to Arc Broward because of Heather Dronimus inviting me to the Inspired Luncheon. And so I want you to share with our community because this is a big event for all of you. And it's, 3 weeks away now, I think? Or is it, how long is it?
Just a month from now. Today's September 3rd, so in 1 month.
My goodness. Okay, so it's coming fast. So just share with the community what is happening and what is the Inspired Luncheon from your perspective.
So I think that our team couldn't have picked a better name for it because it truly is inspiring. It's an afternoon where we are celebrating employers who have really embraced workforce inclusivity and inclusive hiring practices. We're celebrating those individuals who have overcome barriers and are in the workforce. We're celebrating individuals who are striving to be at that place. And of course, in addition to the wonderful lunch and the socialization, you'll have the opportunity to engage with a lot of our job seekers and participants. But something really exciting and new this year is we'll be doing a reverse job fair. And so employers will have the opportunity to actually see the resumes and meet the individuals who are seeking those jobs. And so whether it's for their own business or maybe somebody in their network who they know could really benefit from not only a well-trained, pre-qualified candidate, but a candidate who comes with a whole community of support that they can rest confidently in knowing that we'll do everything to help with that job retention, both for the individual who's placed and the company to help make it a really mutually beneficial relationship. And so I think you'll really have that opportunity and you'll laugh, you may cry. I know last year it was a little emotional.
My community knows, like I shed tears like the moment like something starts getting emotional, like I was a puddle.
I think we all, it's so funny too because you always start crying right before you have to go on to stage, right? So I'm trying to pat myself down as I'm walking on stage, but it's the best tears that you could have. So we look forward to anybody who's interested. If you're in Broward or visiting, you can come on over to our website, arcbroward.com/inspired, and we spell it a little funky because we're highlighting hired. So INSPHIRD. And you can see videos from last year too if you want to learn a little bit more, see some of the folks that we honored last year. And of course, there's tickets there and sponsorships are still available if anyone's so inclined.
I love that. And UKG is your premier sponsor?
Yep, we love UKG. They show up for us.
Yeah, that's Heather. Heather's always showing up in so many different ways. UKG, yeah, they did such a great job. And I wanted to share this with the community because so many that are part of Coffee with Kelly, they want to know how they can serve. They want to know what's happening in the community. They're looking for ways to connect with businesses that, are not just about KPIs and driving the bottom line. I mean, that's important, don't get me wrong, but they're looking for ways that they can contribute in a meaningful way. And I think that's I have so many HR leaders. So HR leaders, if you're listening, but if your ears are perking up, then maybe you were meant to hear this message. If you're in Broward County or you have offices in Broward County, I'll be there. So I will definitely be there, and I can't wait to see you there. I know Janet Winsco is coming. Who are some other people that we may know who are coming or sponsors you have, Jennifer?
So we've got Amazon, Cintas, Centennial Bank. My gosh, so many wonderful employers, and I don't want to misspeak and not highlight the folks. I know my colleagues will drop more in the chat too, so we can make sure that that we're highlighting those wonderful sponsors that we have.
Yeah, for sure. And Jennifer Stewart's here. She's dropping stuff in the chat for us. So yeah, if you all have a link, Jennifer Stewart, if you hear me, or David, if you want to put a link to the Inspired Luncheon in the chat, if people want to check it out. And also, Jennifer, do you ever need volunteers? Because sometimes people ask me, like, do you need volunteers at Arc Broward or at the event too?
Oh, Arc Broward always welcomes volunteers. So I'm one of 3 divisions, and all of the other 2 are children's division, children's services, and our adult services. And so those are areas of individual, not workforce oriented, but there's a plethora of opportunity. And so with my division specifically, there's always opportunity to come in and do mock interviews with our job seekers, right? Do presentations. We run the full gamut of social skills, workforce readiness skills. And so, we have pre-prescribed presentations that folks can just go if that's something that they're more comfortable with. But you may have your own specialty and something that is either, a big passion that's just on your heart that you would like to come and talk to our students about. And we welcome folks to come in. It's always great for our students to hear a diversity of voices and perspectives as they're preparing for the workforce and for independent living. And so we kind of like to say, if volunteers can dream it, we can usually pull it off. And so we always welcome folks to engage with our participants and really be a part of the community.
I love that. And Jennifer dropped the link in the chat. And if you were to think, let's just wrap it up with this. What do you wish more employers would understand about hiring neurodiverse talent? Like, if you were to give them any advice, because I think there's a lot of people that are tentative out there, what's going to happen if I give them advice around?
So I think a big misconception is that folks feel that individuals with disabilities aren't capable of completing tasks or aren't capable of completing multi-step tasks. And sometimes worse, they're worried that it may be a liability for the company. And so some advice that I would say is to really challenge those thoughts and those perspectives, because it really couldn't be further from the truth. As we've been kind of alluding to and talking about throughout this conversation, individuals with disabilities or who are neurodiverse, they just have an abundance of capability and will surprise you every single time. Just how above and beyond some of the individuals that you may bring into your companies will go to help you shift and streamline processes that you may not even have recognized. These individuals sometimes bring incredible focus, incredible creativity and innovation, problem solving, the endurance and just ability to overcome challenges is something I would just say to keep in mind, because again, in the right environment, they'll go below your expectations right out of the water. And again, kind of circling back to what we were talking about originally is just being open. If you have questions, there's nothing wrong with asking someone what's the best way to support you, or I noticed that this happened. How could we address this differently for another outcome? So I think it's really the open, honest communication and reaching out to resources like Arc Broward, where, if you are embarking on hiring a diverse talent pool that includes individuals with disabilities, knowing that you have resource language training. I think that that's a really important part of that belongingness and creating an inclusive environment, making sure that we're speaking and engaging in a way that makes everyone feel heard and valued.
And that, wouldn't it be nice if people just had that mindset overall? Just see the value that every single person can bring in their own unique way. And I really believe this. Like, that's why I love this Coffee with Kelly community, is because we have so many different people with just all kinds of different challenges. And everyone has value. Everyone has value. Just they bring something so unique, so special, that are their strengths. And I just really appreciate the work that you and your team at Arc Broward are doing. I cannot wait to hug you and see you all at the luncheon, Inspired Luncheon on October 3rd. The info is in the little ticker below. I literally feel like we're on the New York Stock Exchange, where the little ticker is going below. I'm grateful for your time. I'm grateful for your team for including me in this project that you have coming out with the Inspired Luncheon on October 3rd. And just thanks for sharing with my community, giving us just a little leadership lesson today of how we can be better, how we can think differently, how employers can kind of challenge the status quo and look for talent that maybe they just didn't think of before, that is sitting right there in your backyard. So Jennifer, I'm glad you're here. And did you have a good time on Coffee with Kelly today?
So much fun. This is great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're just getting started. Like, literally in our Zoom calls, like, we're dancing, we're having fun. So you can come to Coffee with Kelly anytime. And if any of you are watching this, you're like, what the heck is Coffee with Kelly? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. So Coffee with Kelly community, I will not be there this Friday, just letting you know. That's why we're having our midday coffee break today. But we'll be back next Friday, September 12th. All of you are welcome. I'll put the link in here afterwards, but I'll go ahead and put our mugshot memories back on as we close out this wonderful call. Thank you, Jennifer, for your time, and have an amazing day. Cheers to all of you out there. Love you all. Take care.